Are you ready to rumble?
Oh, it's the disco dance mix version, too. And we're recording? Mm-hmm. This is outstanding. Look at us go. Welcome, everybody. This is your average, everyday, weekly dose of monkey business. I am your host. This is Chris, IMC. It is a lovely, gloomy day in June here in the wonderful city of Rochester, home of the Flower City Comic-Con. In the studio with me, as always, is the local radio legend, Billy DeTore.
Hello.
Tanya Metris, who is not a local radio legend.
Definitely not.
And a whole host of others. We've got, Zach, you're going to have to help me. How do you pronounce your last name again? Upsipnik. See, on paper, it looks a lot more complicated than that. Yeah. But we have Zach Upsipnik, who was with us in the general staff. He was helping keep an eye on things in FC3 17. Also in the room today, my two bouncing baby children, Juliana and Ian. Say hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
All right, who were basically wandering around having a grand old time. My favorite intern turned staffer turned intern turned staffer turned fired target dummy and everything like that. Tony Bacchetta is here.
Chris, I have a question for you.
Fire away, Tony.
You're C? I never knew that.
You never knew that I was C?
Who's C?
You haven't been paying attention to that one?
You could always be K.
You're demoted.
Agent C.
Agent K.
Agent C.
And Captain Ray is here today.
Hi.
You got a little captain in you. How you doing, buddy?
I'm tired.
Ray Reyes.
I woke up at like 9
Ray
in
King.
the morning just so I can be on time for this.
The man, the
Woke
myth.
up at 9?
Oh, my
No.
God.
Oh, my God.
That's sleeping in. Wait, I think that's what time I got
Do you know
out of
last
bed,
week
too.
I got up at 2:15 in the morning?
Yeah, because...
How many people were on vacation last week, Bill?
Just Paulie.
Just Paulie?
Yeah.
But that's enough to make your day a
But
lot longer.
that's when Paulie's on vacation.
Yeah.
I'm
Billy's
in.
gotta get up early.
The thing is, I haven't woke up at 9 o'clock since like high school.
Neither have I.
I woke up an hour
And I
ago.
think your high school
seriously got no
career was a
sympathy
lot
for you, Ray.
longer ago than
I
his.
graduated in 1983.
Hey, my high school
I
was
was
about
11.
4 or 5 years ago. I'm pretty old now.
You okay? All right. Also in the
still
studio
in it,
today, you can't hear her right now, but I'm sure she'll probably make a comment somewhere along the line. We raised Mom Ange. Hi, Ange.
Hi.
There she is. And Ange was in our box office. So we've got a big crowd today. And on the phone, last but certainly not least, the box office goddess, the front end overlord herself, Sybil.
Sybil.
Hi, baby.
She got out of the box office this year.
She did. This year, we successfully
I
managed to
did.
figure it out to get her out so she could wander around and see what the hell was going on the rest of the show.
And her and I definitely became queens that weekend.
Yeah, you were both wearing tiaras, weren't you?
Let's go,
Yes.
Queen.
Or was it Jerry the King Lawler's crown?
No, I didn't get close to enough because it kind of scares me.
Well, no, you know what? Meeting Jerry it's great because you see these over-the-top personalities on wrestling programs, and then when you meet them in person, it's like he's an entirely, you get it. He's not just a wrestling entertainer and an artist. He's an actor. Because he was playing he plays that part on the screen, and it's just amazing to actually meet him in person.
I loved his panel. I loved meeting him at his table. I loved the phone interview we did with him on the Wii show earlier that week.
Oh, that was phenomenal.
And I don't know.
listened to that.
Was he a cool guy behind the scenes too?
Oh, yeah.
Easy to work with and all that stuff.
Tanya's coworker Sean was his PA for the day on Sunday that he was there, and Sean he's not the most outgoing guy, but he's kind of level. He's very easygoing. He's very low key. But to see the smile,
He was a kid in a candy
he
store.
really was a kid in a candy store. He had a great time
Because he's a comic book nerd.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He loves that stuff.
Absolutely. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about the 2017 show. As we are recording this, the 2017 show was 2 weeks ago. We were getting ready to close it up 2 weeks ago
Wow,
today.
It's already 2 weeks
It's
ago.
already been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's amazing how time
I
flies.
thought it was last week.
And we're gonna.
I know, right? I thought
and
it
we're
was
gonna,
last week, too.
Exactly. And in a couple of days, this podcast is going to go out. We're going to have Dan jump the schedule, so it's going to go out this coming Wednesday. So we're going to be talking about our thoughts 2 weeks after the fact. So it has been 2 weeks, and time flies. But we are. It's kind of interesting how the dust has finally settled on this. And we got a good look at the 17 show now.
Billy asked if I got any sleep in the last 2 weeks. I said, I've slept a little bit, but I said that he'd have to throw the question out to Chris.
It's kind of interesting that you should do that because I have been using the health meter on my smartphone a lot more over the past couple of months, the step counter, things like that. And it has actually been recording my sleep patterns, which is weird because it'll ask me in the morning, like, did you fall asleep? What time did you fall asleep? What time did you wake up? How do you rate your sleep? And I'll do that. And more often than not, I'll punch everything in and then I'll, like, within a couple of seconds, I'll get hey, you woke up on time. Congratulations. That's the most encouragement I get from my smartphone. No. Today, I got an actual assessment report, and I look at the assessment report and I pop it open, and the first thing I see is, wow, you didn't sleep very well last night or this week, did you? So yeah, it's kind of appropriate that you bring that up because no, I've been a ragged zombie for 2 weeks.
I could tell.
It's true.
Yeah, and the kids are like, yeah, the mornings are treacherous. What is this? Oh, this is cool. I like dice. All right, I'm not going to play with that right now. I want to play.
Is that a metal
squirrel.
dice?
Yeah, squirrel.
Metal dice Dungeons and Dragons.
There you go.
Edition.
So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the show from the inside. We've gotten a ton of great comments from people, constructive criticisms and compliments and some, and there's a couple of trolls out there who decided they want to have some fun and try to make us, feel bad about ourselves. And they failed because we're already feeling bad about ourselves to begin with. No, I know.
Sucks to suck.
Yeah, I know. It's so hard to insult somebody with depression because they're like, what the hell? I don't care. I
Yeah,
already
I know.
think worse of myself than you think of me. So it's all good.
Screw you. I'm
Yeah,
already sad.
Exactly. Seriously.
My depression kicked in when I was 13. Get over it.
There you go. So we're going to share some of the comments we received from our ticket holders. We're going to share some of our thoughts over the next 45 minutes or so. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what some of this has convinced us to do for next year. And we are already deep in the planning for 2018. We do not have a guest announcement at this moment in time. But we're hoping very shortly we are going to probably have something up our sleeve as we speak.
No kidding.
So I can tell you this much about 2018. The show is going to get physically bigger. We are now officially taking over half of the second floor and adding that to our real estate for the first floor of the convention center. The second floor we're going to get half of the Empire Room. And that is where we are going to put the vendors, the artists, and the VIPs. And we might even be able to put a couple of attractions up there, too. Brian is working on the layout as we speak. So the first floor, that which used to be the entire convention, is now going to be the display and activity area. That's where we're going to go from 2.5 panel rooms to almost 4 panel rooms.
Nice.
We're going to start with that.
I like the
Thank you, Jules. We are figuring out the original vendor room is the Lilac Ballroom. We're trying to figure out what we're gonna do with that. Although it's looking right now, the front runners, that's going to be where we're going to pull the staging area out of the foyer and put it in the Lilac Ballroom.
Like where the wrestling and stuff was?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think we're still possibly
We're going to keep the wrestling in the foyer, I think.
Okay.
Is pretty much what we're going to do because the wrestling program was a lot of fun, and they needed that extra space and I think the extra airspace because there were some guys flying off the top ropes and whatnot.
you need room
I
for
wish
that
I would have
stuff.
gotten out there to see it.
I didn't. I saw some videos.
That's
and
the only thing I saw.
My favorite video was of the guy who got into the ring with the Tyrannosaurus Rex
Yes.
costume, and that was just freaking awesome. That was so
seen that one.
I
awesome.
didn't see that.
Oh,
always the
there's a
best.
couple of videos.
There's a video on there.
Jason's got a couple of the videos of that, so that was a lot of
I
fun.
need to see that.
All right, so just to finish that off, the vendor floor, the VIPs, and the artists are going to be all on the second floor in 2018. And on the first floor, you're going to have the bridge simulators will be back. And we're probably going to we've worked out a deal with the Great Escape Room. There's a possibility that we may even have a full-on escape room on site for the weekend.
And you know what? Bringing up the Great Escape Room, I went to that demonstration.
Yeah.
And this summer, Susan's brother, my brother-in-law, and his kid are coming to town, and we're going to the Great Escape Room.
It's an awesome
to
experience.
bring them
Oh,
is
it's
like
so
a
much
fun
fun.
thing to do.
Hey, you want to
so.
call me because I want to go.
Okay.
We've been invited by the Great Escape Room, so the whole board has free access for one run.
Nice.
So we'll go take care of that this summer so we can hang out with them and talk a little bit more about setting that up. So then, like I said, we're going to go from having panel room 1, panel room 2, and then panel room 3 being like the smaller intimate room. We're going to have a panel room 1, 2, and 3 that are going to be full-sized. And panel room 3, what was panel room 3 this year will become panel room 4. And then there's a distinct possibility if we're going to have the space and the staging area is going to be in the Lilac Ballroom where it's going to be a little bit more conducive and it's not going to be as echoey and loud. That we may make it like a grand panel room out of that.
For the biggest
games, depending on who we bring in. So we're also I'm very satisfied with the way that the combination of panel room 1 and 2 on Saturday went. I know it cut down some of our options for programming, and we're working on that. We're going to push the schedule a little bit further towards closing hours for 18, so we can do a little bit more. But I liked because it really worked out for having Colin Baker on hand.
That was a fun panel.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the panel.
Yes.
Tony, you were my right hand man for the panels. What do you think about panel room stuff?
I liked how we did it this year. I know that we probably can put now that we have the more space, we can probably put more stuff in.
Right.
And all in all, that'll probably come back and help improve our programming.
Exactly, and that's a lot of the comments that,
Right.
that Tanya received through our Grotix survey. People were saying that there needs to be more programming, and we agree. We understood that right from the word go. We were just doing the best we could with the space we had.
Yeah.
And we were also trying to keep it so they wouldn't be trying to compete with the Colin Baker panel or the Bruce Boxleitner panel, or like the wrestling on Sunday, because we didn't necessarily want to have people to have to pick and choose.
Yeah. We didn't want to bury panels.
Right.
No.
But also,
we're gonna, and in the going forward, we're just going to have to. I think on a couple of occasions.
Just as someone that's been to Niagara Falls Comic Con and Fan Expo in Toronto, that you wind up doing that. No matter how hard you try, there's going to be
a couple panels,
times where you got to pick and choose. I want to go to both, but okay, I'll go to this one.
That's natural things in life that you have to pick and choose whether you're going to do this or do this.
Comic-Con.
Oh, another one, yeah.
New York City is insane. If we can match their kind of programming down the road in terms of diversity and
that was so
depth,
difficult to choose because I wanted to go see like Anna Silk and Stan Lee, but they were at the same time. I'm like, Stan Lee's a little more important.
Yeah. Well, you asked me before you went to New York City last year. You were like, I can do this or I can do this, and I'm like, you really want to take an opportunity to see Stan now because you're not going to have an opportunity to see Stan down the road.
He's retiring this year, isn't he?
It was.
Yeah.
I think Awesome Con might be one of his last ones.
Yeah. Every year he shuts down a little bit more in terms of region.
It's mainly because this time his wife is jumping in and saying, "Okay, you need to stay home a little more."
Plus, he's 93.
What's going on, Zach?
That doesn't help you.
Come on up.
Yeah. Right here.
What I heard is, I think at this point maybe he's changed it, but he was just going to be doing one thing a year.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah. But you got to imagine, at what, 94 years old, how many one thing a year is he going to be able to pull off?
Plus, he's got his own con called Kamikaze, I think.
Oh, yeah, he does. He does. I've heard of that.
Chicago, maybe? I forget.
I don't know.
Where.
I thought it was in New York.
Wherever he's based off of at the moment, I assume.
I want to go there.
You want to go there, Jules? Why?
Because it sounds interesting.
She wants me and Steph and all the other unconventionals to take her to Niagara Falls.
Is that what you guys are calling yourselves now, the unconventionals?
Yes, we are the unconventionals.
So where we are the Mighty Monkey Corporation, you guys are going to be the unconventionals.
Yes.
Yep.
I like it. I like that a lot. All right, so I tell you what, let's go front to back. We talked a little bit about the panel room, but let's move up a bit. And Sybil, I'm going to put you on the spot, Sweet Pea.
Okay.
Because I'm good at that once in a while. She's like, oh, yeah, you admit that I'm still here? And
she was sitting back listening.
She was sitting back listening. You had us on mute. So, Sybil, from the front end experience, from box office side of things, what did you see? I mean, what did we do better? What do we still need to work on?
Well, honestly, just line management.
Mm-hmm.
We need just one more person to tell people where to go. There was a lot of times of me shouting, guys, come on. This is the way you got to go. This is where you have to be. So a little bit more help with that. But honestly, the line's moving much smoother than it was last year.
That I will admit, the lines were pretty smooth, but everybody just kept jumping in and out, wanting to cut somebody or something. It's like, no, you got to stay where you were. You left. That means back in the line. You can't just take your spot back just because you went somewhere for 5 seconds.
Okay. All right. We're going to have a new challenge for next year because we're going to be on 2 floors. So we're trying to, this was the first board meeting when we had the other day. The first thing we were talking about is where are we going to put the box office? And, we now have a dolly. All right, everybody. Well, hello, Dolly. Well, hello, Dolly. It's so nice to have you back where you belong. That's as good as it gets right there, guys. I didn't even warm up. I got to sing that with Colin Baker. We're gonna have an anecdote about that song. Yeah, I know he's got a little bit more trained singing voice than I do. But yeah, as we were saying, for 2018, since we're going to be on 2 floors, is trying to figure out how we're going to set up the entrances and exits and make sure that everything is covered and that people can find things easily and whatnot. So we're working that out right now. We have an idea, but we're not sure how good of an idea it is at the moment. So that's going to be some fun. And Sybil, when we start working that out, you'll be involved, obviously, because it's going to affect your job.
Good.
Actually, even before the box office, one thing we have to do, and it was no fault of anyone in this room, anyone in the convention.
Probably me.
We have to call the people in charge of that run.
Oh, yeah,
and
the
tell
color
them,
run?
and find out, are they doing it? When are you doing it? Don't do it.
I've already had that conversation with them. They always try to be the last weekend of Lilac Festival. They always try to be around the 3rd weekend of May. So we are already ducked out of their path. By right now, we're Mother's Day weekend next year.
Okay.
All right. which, we can actually put a little asterisk next to that. I can't say anything specific at the moment, but that we can put in a word of card subject to change on the dates. We have something in work